How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Down podcast, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Today, in episode number 223, we are back discussing the Seattle Seahawks finally, or according to reports, being willing to listen to trade offers for Russell Wilson from the Chicago Bears, the New Orleans Saints, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to discuss what the odds that Wilson actually gets traded are and whether or not Ryan Pace should be on the phone with Seattle right now. Welcome back to the show, guys. Feels good to be back. A little inconsistent this entire offseason. We're trying to get out content to you guys when we can, but it surely feels good to be back. I'm your host. My name is Chris Malpe. Joined with the normal crew here today, Jaylen McClinton and Parth Shaw. Guys, how you doing?
Your mic's muted.
His mic is muted. His mic is muted. Parth, how's it going, man?
It's been a long time since I've recorded, I guess. I don't know. It's just been struggling with finding things to record with, I guess. So slow down with the Bears. Caught up with a lot of schoolwork at the time. But, hopefully we can just get back on track. The draft is approaching, so excited about to just crank out content for the draft and then on to the season.
Yeah, a lot of mock drafts coming back soon. A lot of draft profiles on some different quarterbacks, I'm sure, as well as wide receivers, offensive tackles, other positions. But Jaylen, how's it going, my man?
I just realized that the draft was next month. I don't know this. I guess since we're doing online classes for me, this year's just going by fast. But Twitter's been crazy, for both of my teams, the Bears and the Bulls. It's absolutely been crazy. But other than that, let's talk some Bears football.
Absolutely. And before we get into this episode, I would like to quickly talk about our sponsor, Manscaped. So enjoy this message.
How's it going, everybody? Manscaped hooked me up with a bunch of tools and formulations from their Perfect Package 3.0 kit. I know we all have stories of trying to shave down there and perhaps nicking ourselves and bleeding, and it's not very fun, but not to worry with Manscaped. Manscaped has created the best ball hair trimmer ever, the Lawnmower 3.0. Their third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. I now feel confident shaving my boys. In addition, this trimmer comes with an LED light for a more precise shave and is waterproof to make your shower shave clean and easy. And don't use the same trimmer you use on your face as your balls. That's just nasty. The Lawnmower 3.0 comes inside their brand new Perfect Package 3.0, which comes with everything you need to keep trimmed, cut-free, and smelling nice down there. The Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0 also includes the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You already put deodorant on your armpits. Why are you not putting deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? And yes, your balls stink. Speaking of which, I am also thankful for their Crop Reviver. This product, along with the Crop Preserver, keeps your balls from sweating, smelling, and sticking. Manscaped also threw in 2 free gifts into their Perfect Package, one being a pair of high-performance Manscaped boxer briefs that'll keep your junk feeling fresh all day, and a travel shed bag to store all of your grooming goodies. Trim that junk of yours. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BD20 at manscaped.com. You'll see it on the screen right now. Your balls will thank you. Once again, that's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code BD20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Now let's get back into the video.
All right, guys, so we are back talking Russell Wilson. There have been some massive updates today about Russell Wilson's situation as it continues to boil over in Seattle. Will it be figured out? Will it not? We shall see. Dov Kleeman today, of course, when it comes to NFL news, tweeted out that Wilson thinks he's a top 10 or 5 quarterback of all time. Now, whether or not that's true, I mean, you got someone like Parth putting Matthew Stafford in the top 10 of all time. Wilson is having some issues in Seattle when it comes to getting his voice in on the scheme and the offensive style of the Seattle Seahawks. It's a little bit of a beef between him and Pete Carroll, it seems. Will it be worked out? We're not too sure, but that is the current update we've got from Seattle. And then in terms of the Bears, how they're involved in this, Doc Kleeman also put out today that the Seahawks have made calls to opposing teams about trading away Russell Wilson as well as Diana Rossani has said they've been listening to calls from other teams on the Pat McAfee show on Wednesday, saying he's not happy in Seattle. The Seahawks also aren't happy with how the entire situation has sprawled out. And then later, a little bit later today, there was an update from NFL Network's Michael Silver describing the situation and the drama in Seattle as a complicated situation, and he clarified that the Seahawks are willing to listen to trade offers for their franchise quarterback from Chicago, Las Vegas, Denver, and New Orleans. Finally, before we start talking about this, Jeremy Fowler on SportsCenter this morning said that Russell Wilson really likes the market in Chicago and wants to see what the Bears are going to do in the next week and coming months to see if they can really make a push towards a Super Bowl winning squad this offseason. So, a lot to break down, a lot going on with this entire situation. Jaylen, I want to start with you. It seems like the Seahawks, whether or not they are willing to trade away Russell Wilson, it's a little bit of a tough name to pronounce, if I'm being completely honest. Whether or not they are willing to trade him away, they are listening to calls about him from the teams that he disclosed that he would be willing to go to. So I want to ask you, first off, do you think Ryan Pace is on the phone right now? And if not, should he be on the phone for quite some time with Seattle, not letting them get a break until they say yes?
It's Russell. It's not Russell Wilson. It's Ryan Pace. Everything's on the table with him. So I'm definitely pretty sure that he wakes up every day in the morning and calls. I think their GM is named John Snyder. To see how he's doing and check up on if Russell Wilson is available. So I definitely feel like he's being aggressive, trying to trade for him. He has to be. That's mainly what this whole offseason about is finding a reliable quarterback that can come in and help your team win games on a consistent basis. We had that. We had that from Mitchell Trubisky for one season, but he was inconsistent. And then Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky again, but that wasn't consistent good quarterback play. That we know that this quarterback is going to come in every game and play good football, and we have a chance to win every single game. So with Russell Wilson, being frustrated with what's going on in Seattle right now, he has to be very aggressive in trying to trade for him. If he's not the most aggressive GM right now, trying to trade for Russell Wilson, then it's something going on. So. I definitely feel like right now he's on the phone trying to cook up some offers to send to the Seahawks.
Absolutely, and I feel like most everything has to be on the table for Russell Wilson if you're really trying to bring him in. I mean, you take a look at the other teams that Russ wants to go to or said he would go to. The Saints, $60 million in the hole with cap space. The Raiders, there's been rumors that they are close to extending Derek Carr. Mike Mayock and John Gruden yesterday expressed that they're sticking with Carr. And then the Cowboys, they have the shot down. It seems like they're going to tag Dak Prescott or extend him. So the Bears are aggressively in on multiple quarterbacks. They are very desperate. Seems like the only real threat to them should be the Raiders if they are willing to move on from their Carr. But it seems like the Bears should be the biggest threat to get Russell Wilson if they want, or if Russell Wilson requests a trade, or if Seattle decides to move on. I think Ryan Pace should be on the phone nonstop. John Schneider, as you mentioned, Jaylen, the executive vice president and GM of the Seahawks, he was someone that helped build an incredible team, one of the best franchises over the past decade in Seattle. And it seems like things could be reaching a boiling point here soon. So if I'm Ryan Pace, I'm not getting off the phone. I'm asking John Schneider, what do you want? We will probably give it to you. So that's what I would be doing. And it feels like at this point, I mean, obviously both sides are upset. Both sides are angry. So it seems like if the Bears can come through with an offer that is irresistible, unresistible, I don't know, to deny, maybe the Seahawks will pull the trigger and both sides will be happy because the Seahawks would be getting an abundance of picks, maybe some players as well. And the Bears would finally get their franchise guy, make that massive move that Kyle Brandt messaged yesterday. He said that he thinks the Bears are going to make a massive move this offseason, maybe something that the media doesn't entirely see coming for the good, and Chicago fans definitely deserve that. So if I'm Ryan Pace, I am absolutely on the phone right now with John Schneider, trying to get something done, trying to convince him to send Russell Wilson to Chicago. Parth, I'm pretty sure you're going to be in agreement with us here as well. But if you're Ryan Pace and you're hearing that the Seahawks are willing to listen to offers, whether or not they want to trade him, are you on the phone nonstop with Seattle right now?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be. He would be the best quarterback as soon as he'd enter Halas Hall. And the thing with the Bears is we currently have no plan at the quarterback position unless if we look at the draft. The free agency market with quarterbacks is not that good this year. There isn't much talent. I don't think you can pick up a long-term starter with that. And Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace's job's on the line, and they definitely want to find someone who's long. So if they want to find someone who's long-term, who can play for another 5 years, and help this team win games, make the playoffs, I think Russell Wilson's their guy. And if I was Pace, I'd be on the phone nonstop, trying to get Wilson here, because bringing Wilson here at least guarantees you to win at least 8 to 9 to 10 games here, and it keeps your job safe for the next 3 or 4 years. I feel like.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like whatever you give up in this deal, unless it's excessively over the top, is probably going to be worth it. And I think a lot of Chicagoans would apologize and take back Ryan Pace if he was able to get this deal done. It puts the Bears in a competitive spot for years. It makes them instant playoff contenders. And that's exactly what we need. Ryan Pace wants to save his job. If Matt Nagy wants to save his job, and there have been reports that Russell Wilson likes Chicago because he does see Matt Nagy as someone who's an offensive guru, then I think Chicago's got to do all they can to try and make it happen. But, Jaylen, you got something to add?
Yeah, before, because I don't know if we talked about this or not, but I know we've been seeing all these crazy trade offers, and is it just me or obviously I said I wouldn't give up 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. I still really want to give up 3 first-round picks for Russell Wilson, but that's different. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, so I would definitely do that, without hesitation. But they also had Darnell Mooney. They said David Montgomery, Jaylen Johnson.
There's a lot of smoke everywhere. We saw it with the Carson Wentz situation.
Right?
We all bit on the Carson Wentz hook, by the way. We recorded the podcast saying Carson Wentz was coming to the Bears, but it seemed like it though.
I'm saying is it just me? I wouldn't want to give up Roquan if we were to trade for Russell Wilson.
Parth, I don't know.
Darnell Mooney, I wouldn't want to give up him, but for Russell Wilson, we could. I would be okay with that. But Roquan Smith, Roquan, Khalil, Jaylen Johnson, preferably David.
There's probably some players that you would hope would be untouchable, but at the end of the day, you would hope. I think you would hope the goal of Russell Wilson coming to Chicago is to entice some other veterans to come sign here for cheap and play. We just saw it with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, and Russell Wilson wants to compete for a title, and wherever he ends up going, if he goes anywhere, I'm sure that's something that would hopefully happen. So, I think whatever probably is in the deal, and we'll get into it a little bit later, is worth it. But let's talk about how realistic it is that a deal actually goes down, because we've seen this situation sprawl out in Seattle. We've also seen Pete Carroll throughout his time with the USC Trojans and the Seattle Seahawks since I've been alive. Be a really good guy, be able to work out these types of situations. But it seems like he's undervaluing Russell Wilson a little bit here. And there's been a lot of stuff coming out about Russell Wilson wanting to fix the Bears' offensive woes if he were here, wanting to eventually be in a managerial role, possibly an owner of a team. So there's a lot of premise there as well. But obviously for this all to happen, he has to request a trade. So, Jaylen, I'm going to pass it back down to you now. How realistic do you think it is that a trade happens? Because we've seen the situation continue to progress, and I think it's a lot worse than a lot of us expected it was ever going to be at this point. But do you think it reaches a tipping point where Russell actually says, I would like to get out of here, whether he goes to Chicago or not? Do you think it reaches that point?
So before this morning, no. I thought, obviously, a lot of star players are going to get frustrated with their teams, and they're only going to say this so they can try to get leverage and say, well, we don't want to get rid of you, so we're going to do anything in our power to make the team better. So that's what I thought it was. But when that rumor came out that Seattle was getting frustrated with how
Wilson as well,
and how he's handling the situation, and then now that they're starting to listen to offers, I definitely think it's a possibility. Now, do I still think it happens? Probably not, because that's I wouldn't say Russell Wilson's generational talent, but they found him in the 3rd round, so you were very blessed to find a quarterback type like that to come in right away and help your team become successful. And he's done it for a very long time. Like I said, he's won you a Super Bowl, so he's going to go down as one of the best quarterbacks in to ever put on the Seahawks jersey. And I don't think they want to give that type of quarterback up, because you don't know how long it's going to take for you to get that type of production. It might take you a while. So I say I'm still gonna say no, but I definitely think it's more likely that he gets traded than last week.
24 hours ago. Yeah.
Even yesterday. Yeah.
It was really interesting to see. Obviously all the rumors in the beginning were getting Bears fans pretty hyped up, like stuff saying, he would gladly accept a trade to Chicago, and just seeing the Bears on that list for me was pretty exciting. That might already put him as a top quarterback.
I thought we got hit with another one of those is Bears watching.
Yeah.
We got hit with
No.
that.
The fact that he wanted to come to Chicago might already put him as one of the best Bears quarterbacks of all time, whether he ever plays a game with the Bears or not. But I got to agree with you on a pin, Jaylen. Seeing that Seattle's getting frustrated makes me think there's a possibility, but I don't think it happens. I believe in Pete Carroll personally. I've always been a fan of his. He's a great competitor, a great coach. I think Russell Wilson wants a better offensive line. He also wants more of a say in the offensive scheme. If Pete Carroll doesn't give that to him and they continue to have a standoff, I think it could become likely that Russell Wilson gets traded. I don't think it happens, though. You also have to take a look at Seattle. If they trade him, taking on $39 million in dead cap, that would be the most in NFL history, behind what the Eagles just took on with Carson Wentz, trading him to the Indianapolis Colts. I believe that was somewhere between $30 and $33 million. So it seems unlikely, but the fact that we've gotten to this point as a whole makes it seem kind of realistic, or at least there's a possibility of it happening. We see Russell Wilson kind of just putting his chin down on social media, posting workout videos. A lot of NFL fans getting hype, and all this stuff from actually reliable sources coming out about tension continuing to grow and him having legitimate interest in Chicago. I don't think it happens, but if he requests a trade, my God, Ryan Pace, you have to be all over that. So, Parth, before we close this one out, I just want to ask you, what do you think the odds are that Russell Wilson actually gets traded? Him coming to the Bears still seems slim at this point. I think it'll become more of a realistic option if and when he does request a trade. Or if the Bears are offering up a big enough of a package to Seattle right now, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes, to be able to entice them to send him here. But you would hope that the Bears could be a pretty big threat if he does request a trade. But what are the odds, do you think, that it actually gets to that point?
If he does get traded, I think the Bears are the best option just for Seattle, and I think the Bears have the most to offer, in my opinion. I feel like the Bears are the most hungry team, to the team to give the most pieces for Seattle. But to see him get traded, I feel like it's got to be pretty unlikely. If it gets to that point, I'm all for it. I would love to see Russell Wilson here in Chicago, but I just feel like Seattle's too good of an organization to let someone like Russell Wilson slip away from them.
We were also thinking that the Texans were too good of a
situation
to let Deshaun Watson slip away. So these things can regress fast, and we see it in Houston with Deshaun Watson meeting with David Culley and saying, "I'm out of here. You're a new coach. I respect you, but I am out of here." So we'll see how this continues to progress. We will obviously keep you guys posted. The one thing that's worrisome for me, though, I must say, is John Gruden's been someone who's also gone all in his entire life. He traded Khalil Mack. He made some crazy moves in the past when he was in the NFL. And if he really does want Russell Wilson, they could offer up Derek Carr easily and make that work. So that's the only real worry to me. I think they're going to come with a pretty big package to make this one work. But we're going to keep you guys posted on the Russell Wilson situation after some new developments today. So if you are new to the channel or listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please do us a favor, subscribe. Like, if you're on YouTube, follow on any of the podcasting platforms, because we're going to be trying to put out content every day of the week, keeping you guys posted on everything Bears this offseason. Have a really big video, if you are listening still, coming out tomorrow on Allen Robinson, the franchise tag and his situation, as there are some new progressions there as well. So be sure to look out for that one coming out tomorrow on Friday, March 5th. If you want more content from us, head over to our website, beardown.com. We're starting to get back in the groove on there as well, posting columns, articles, and blogs about the Bears offseason. There's a ton of great people who work hard for us behind the scenes, so please head over to our website to find more content from us. If you would like to find the podcast on Instagram or Twitter, you can go to both platforms at Bear Down, so be sure to go check those out. It's a great way to interact with us, see sneak peeks of what we're posting pretty early. and also enter our giveaways that we are going to start doing bi-monthly. So be sure to head over to our social media pages. And finally, before we close this one out, I would like to say you can find the links to all of our social media pages down in the description. Me, Jaylen, and Parth, our Instagram and Twitter pages. It's a great way to see our thoughts on the entirety of the NFL, all of professional sports, and once again, another great way to interact with us. So be sure to go check us out on social media. Parth Shaw, Jaylen McClinton, getting back into the groove of things. We had February be quite the inconsistent month, but things are going to start ramping up here for the rest of 2021 in March. So any last words before we close this one off?
Yeah, it's just the beginning of the year. The draft coverage, like I said earlier, is just going to start getting coming up as the draft comes up, and then the season's going to come by. It's going to be a fast process. I'm excited. I feel like the Bears could make a pretty good move quarterback if they can get Russell Wilson. This team can even make the playoffs next year. They're uncertain, but that's what's fun about football on this Bears team, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, let's hope it's not all
the negative side.
Let's hope it's not all a disappointment and
Yeah.
ends up being like the Bears trading for Nick Mullins. But Jaylen, any last words before we close this one off?
Please don't even speak that into existence. Like, it's been stressful because we don't have a quarterback, and it's like so many rumors that Bears might sign Ryan Fitzpatrick. Or
I'm not surprised that the Bears are in on absolutely anyone. It's clear they're doing their homework. I just really hope they can get it down. That's going to be the issue.
Yeah, exactly. See, if you don't get Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson at this point, I'll be fine with drafting a quarterback. But I don't think your job will be safe at that point. But other than that, they're down.
Yeah. A lot of quarterback drama this offseason with the Chicago Bears, but we're going to keep you guys posted on it and everything to do with the Bears this offseason here on the channel. So be sure to subscribe, follow, like. As I said earlier, guys, it's been a pleasure to be your host. Once again, my name is Chris Malpe, and Bears fans, as always, do us a favor and stay safe and bear down. We'll see you guys back tomorrow talking about Allen Robinson, and that is pretty much it for us, guys. Peace out.